Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today's episode of the Small Town Slashers podcast is unofficially sponsored by lipstick. That's going to make more sense later. But today we're joined by one of our good friends, Robi Show. We met her on Twitch right when we all started streaming. We're great to have her and really stoked, and she's just really awesome. So welcome onto the show, Robi.
Hey, thank you for having me and for flattering me. It's very sweet of you.
Anytime. So how's...
And you get to be the very first guest on the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Aw, it feels so special.
Very first. Very, very first. And hopefully we can have you on here quite a few other times as well.
We'll see how badly I do.
Nah, you won't do bad, trust me. It's all conversation based, so it's totally fine.
Oh, I'm screwed.
No.
To kind of base off of what we were talking about last time, Robi, what do you think makes an effective scare?
Like, any specific type of scare? Like, or...
To you.
The moment of silence while my brain tries to work.
I'm sorry. It's just, we had that topic last time, and I thought it would be a good question to ask a guest as well.
Mm-hmm. Like, for me personally, I think it depends on a lot of things. Like, I really love atmosphere and sound design and stuff like that. Monster or whatever design is really awesome, but like, if you really want to give somebody the heebie-jeebies, or me personally, get good sound design and really awesome atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
I guess for me, it's a connection to the character involved, because, like, if the character is someone I don't care about, I'm not really going to be scared.
Mm-hmm.
I might startle or something, but wouldn't really be scared. But if it's someone, like, if I care about the character, then I'm going to be worried about them and be scared for them.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, because, I mean, that's like when we were talking about the Texas Chainsaw. We didn't have connection to the sister that got killed, but we were more connected to the one that had the trauma.
Mm-hmm.
The new one.
There's a new one that's on Netflix.
Yeah, I actually posted in the comments the last episode that I was sorry for derailing the podcast, the topic, and talking miniature Texas Chainsaw review.
No, you're totally fine, man. You're totally fine. Yeah, it's on Netflix if you want to watch it. It's
I haven't heard good things.
Probably everything you've heard has been correct, though.
Probably. Like, Bubba was fine.
Yeah.
It was a lot of the other stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when you watch it, let me know if you agree with my theory. My theory was it was written as a black comedy, and then just like all of that was completely removed during the directing process. Because like the film literally shits on one of the main characters. I'm not joking.
No, he's not.
Yeah, without spoiling anything, the ending, there's just no way they could have wrote that.
Oh, no, I know what the ending is.
Oh, okay.
I've been spoiled on it. I know what the ending is. The slow ass moving car.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like they recreate the original ending. Only this time it's a self-driving Tesla.
Conspiracy theory there.
Elon Musk is the true villain.
Yes. Yeah. He's the one that invented Bubba.
I also watched the new Scream the other night.
I have yet to watch that. I need to.
Same. I love Scream. Like, I haven't seen the new one, so I need to.
I actually really liked it.
I heard that one was actually good for them coming up with a new Scream.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and I really enjoyed it. A lot more than 3 and 4, which 4, I have like a love hate relationship. I love a lot of what they do, but then there's just something off, and also like 4 has that really weird gloss filter over the entire movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I mean, you can Google this. Like, if just Google why does Scream 4 look so bad, you'll see like a whole bunch of other people complaining about it. But it's definitely an effect done in post, and because I used to do it. A lot of my earlier films, the reason I've been remastering like older movies is back when I first started color grading. I'm like, heck yeah, this looks awesome. This looks cinematic, and then when I look at it now, I'm like, oh, why did you do this?
So, Scream is actually what got me into horror movies. I saw it when I was about 8 years old, and I've been obsessed with the genre ever since. So I have a very special place in my heart for the Scream movies.
Hell yeah.
I don't like 3. I like parts of 3, but not most of it. So I really need to see the new one, but I'm also really, really worried about watching the new one.
It's got my seal of recommendation.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. In fact, I think there's one or two things that just kind of had me baffled, but like I would honestly put it in the ranks of like, because I consider the first 2 Screams as like the golden standard. I would put it up there.
That's fair.
I'll have to check it out. I'll say I watched the Fear Street movies recently, and I enjoyed them so much more than I expected to.
Oh, sweet! I've been trying to find other people who has watched this trilogy, and like I can't find anybody.
I've been meaning to. I just suck.
Yeah.
I had seen some stuff about it, and it looking at just stills and stuff and clips, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna like this, but I've got time to kill, I might as well watch them. And for about the first, I don't know, 20 or so minutes of the first one, I was like, okay, it's better than I thought, but it's still not anything special. And then once it kicked in hard, and I was here for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched the rest of the movies, and I was just like, yes, I love this. I wish more people would talk about it.
Oh yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, they're all good, but like part 2 is like one of my favorite horror films that's come out recently.
Oh, yeah. Part 2 was fantastic. My only issue with it was just that it was called Camp Nightwing, because all I could think about was grown up Robin.
How Robin from Batman really became Nightwing.
When Dick Grayson lost his shit.
So
I actually just watched Stranger Things for the first time the other day. And there's parts of that could be horror.
Oh, definitely.
Oh yeah.
Especially in the first season of it, all 3 groups are just living through 3 different genres.
Yeah.
You've got the adults going through with a thriller, the kids dealing with coming of age sci-fi, and then Nancy and Jonathan going through a straight up horror movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they continue it in season 3. Like season 2 was not as much as of them, like they were more working together, I feel like, with the groups.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But they then brought back the different groups going through in season 3 again.
I've not seen anything past season 1.
Oh, I watched everything in a whole day.
So what's really wild, because I keep seeing all these people, like, everyone's so hot for season 4, and I am too, but because I can remember I was in Columbus, Ohio, with the lead actor of my film, my upcoming film. We just watched Ariana Grande live the day before, and then Stranger Things came out. And I sit there and binged all of season 3 in one day, and that is literally almost 3 years ago now. And
Yeah.
I've
Well,
and
I've looked it up, and since COVID actually derailed season 4, and they're actually coming out May and July this year.
Oh God, Navi.
I forgot my phone had sound on it still.
That's okay.
But yeah, and I mean, I understand like all the delays and stuff, but still at the same time, it's like Jesus Christ, but because now they're doing like season 4, part 1 and part 2,
Mm-hmm.
and then they just I hope season 5 is already being filmed, but I'm just like Jesus Christ.
There is talks about season 5 coming out.
I'm
well.
saying like I don't know like how far into production, like if it's being filmed or yet or not, because I'm like these guys are going to be in their mid-20s by the end of this. You're going to go through all the 80s nostalgia, and then you're going to see them like middle-aged in the 90s by the end of this.
Now the trailer for season 4 looks good.
Oh yeah.
I've not seen it yet. I need to check it out.
I didn't know they put out the trailer.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. You can view it.
But while we're on the topic of film, it's actually really funny. That's how Robbie and I found each other on Twitch. I was browsing, just chatting, as I would usually do whenever I'm just looking for people to follow and all that stuff, and try to build both of our communities and everything. And she was talking about films and everything, so I watched her for a little bit, and she had a notebook and was actually critiquing this film beyond just, oh, I liked it or I didn't like it kind of thing. And I'm like, heck yeah, I'm following this person.
My 5 pages of notes about the Killer Camera movie.
Yep. Yeah, it was. It was a Polaroid.
Yes. It wasn't good.
No, it wasn't. But yeah, that's how we found each other, and then just film talk ever since. And it's been great. And one of the best people I'd ever met on the platform, and somebody that I truly consider one of my closest friends. And there's not many of you guys, but thank you for being there.
I had a lot of fun doing those streams where I just talk about movies, but I would only get like 1 or 2 viewers every time I did it.
Yeah. Yeah, like a lot of people, they don't... I don't know. It's like whenever you actually start sitting down and critiquing stuff, not a lot of people really want to listen. I guess they're just trying to look for spoilers, maybe.
Yeah.
Or they're looking for the rant style of review, which I prefer not to do.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, okay, and I'll admit, like that was part of like when I consider myself growing up, because I'm, early YouTube, I loved all those angry rant reviews, and then I realized like you can nitpick any movie to the point where someone will hate it.
Like I used to be really into like watching like Nostalgia Critic and stuff until I realized that he was starting out determining to dislike these movies, which is just so disingenuous. Ugh. Even if I don't like a movie, I'll try to find something about it. Like even Polaroid, as stupid and boring as it was, had things I enjoyed that I tried to highlight when I talked about it.
Oh yeah, I mean, anytime, like we see, and there's like people in the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre characters we really didn't like, and I was like, well, the actors did a fantastic job of like playing these parts, and in fact, one of the guys, like I really like his, because he like the actor just goes out of his way to be as like unlikable as possible, and which I've always been a fan of like the the kind of like psychological people who are just so over the top mean that you're rooting for the mass murderer to kill them all.
Yeah.
It's because it's kind of like Rob Zombie's Halloween's. Everybody except the sheriff is like a complete asshole in those movies.
I mean, just really in any of Rob Zombie's movies, all the characters are just assholes.
Very true. I mean,
Yeah,
you can't even really pick one out that's obviously other than the sheriff.
Yeah,
That isn't.
that's what gets me, because like I've really been wanting to do like horror movie reviews for a long time, but like I rewatched his Halloween 2, and I was surprised by how well he made like Sheriff Brackett and his daughter Annie, like how likable he made them. It's like if he wanted to, he could. He just loves writing people being dicks, and I completely get that.
Yeah.
Also, I will give a lot of that credit to Brad Dourif and Danielle Harris, because, I mean, they're some of the most talented horror movie actors working. And I honestly don't think I could dislike a Danielle Harris character, even if she was being horrible. I'd probably still like her, because Danielle Harris is just insanely charismatic.
Oh yeah,
True.
and I feel like an old man now, because whenever I met her like at Scarefest in 2011, like she was so nice, and like because like I was able to crap, I'm totally blanking on the movie now, but like one of my favorite movies was like her and like it was like some A-list hero was her dad, and there was like this weird Jamaican gang in it. But anyway, I told her like I grew up watching the Halloween movies, of course, and then I was like, and I really like that, and she's like, oh my god, thank you. So many she's like that one really gets overlooked a lot, and just like it's just she was just like so nice and so sweet to me.
I feel like if I met Danielle Harris, I would just blurt out, I remember when you were in the Disney Channel movies with Katherine Heigl.
That's part of.
Exposure to her was Wish Upon a Star, where her and Katherine Heigl switch bodies.
We talked about one the other. Like I was such a Jason fanboy that I was literally speechless at meeting Kane Hodder. Like he was even kind of just like, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure he understood, but he was like, oh, it's one of you, because like I couldn't even talk to him, and he was like trying to talk to me, and I was just like I was so nervous.
I'm pretty sure I would pass out on the spot. Like, even just looking at him across the room, I would just go down like a sack of potatoes.
It is pretty nice. Wolf Gunbunny and I got to watch him at Horror Hound call Adam Green a bitch.
Yeah.
That was like his introduction.
Like they're giving Adam Green this award, and all of a sudden you hear, Adam's a bitch. Adam's a bitch.
He also threw a Sharpie at Adam while he was like signing her stuff too.
Yeah.
He did. He did. He's, as of now, going to be at Scarefest in October. Excuse me.
Yeah, we're on a quest to get him to sign a Machete, but I gotta. After filming, I'm going to be saving every nickel and dime, because Robert England's going to be there, and last time he was there, I think like it's either 2014 or 2015, but like the line literally wrapped around the convention building. Like if you and because I've talked with somebody who tried to meet him then, and he's like, if you don't have VIP, you're not going to get close to him. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to save up VIP, going to go in there early, want to make sure I have cash on me because that was the mistake I made during Horror Hound. I came in and I was like, oh yeah, cash, and then the ATMs ran out. So I'm like, all right, this time get in there early, cash, go straight for him, and I'm probably still going to be waiting behind like 30 people.
I've actually never been to Scarefest, so I have no idea what to expect.
Yeah.
I haven't been either.
It's been actually no, I went in 2018. I keep forgetting that, yeah, because I met Tobin Bell and I got to redeem myself for Elvira. Oh yeah, because the first time I went to Scarefest I was so awkward. I got scared that because there was a gun show convention happening like in the same thing, and I was like, oh my god, we're not going to be able to find this part, find the convention. And I ran up to somebody to ask them directions, and it turned out to actually be Elvira.
Oh wow!
And she roasted me, and I mean it was honestly one of the best experiences of my life. Like, but like at the time I was so mortified I didn't even go near her table. But anyway, yeah, I got to meet her, but it's a lot smaller than Horror Hound. Them one people we met when they said that they wouldn't consider Scarefest one of the big conventions they would go to. I can see why. There's only, unless they've changed it, there's only one room for all the guests and vendors. You don't, so there's no 3 rooms. There's definitely no big hallways and lines. So hopefully there won't be like thousands and thousands of people there.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully.
Yeah, that's one thing I tell people about Horror Hound. If you don't do well in claustrophobic settings, yeah, I don't know if I would recommend it.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, they even oversold Saturday.
They did.
Uh-huh.
For me, it's not so much claustrophobia as it is people.
Yeah.
Like the first time I went to Comic-Con, I went with my roommate Zan, and we got separated at one point, and I ended up like wedging myself in the small space between a vending machine and a wall for like 20 minutes because I was panicking just from the sheer amount of people around me.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a lot better, and I was surprised that was the only panic attack I had that day because we were all thinking I was gonna do a lot worse, but still, just too many people around freaks me out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was quite a few.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There was a lot more people than there was in 2019, and even then I was like, God, there's so many people.
Oh yeah.
Cause I heard someone complaining that they waited like 5 hours and to get Nev Campbell's autograph. And then, but if they'd seen it Sunday, they would have been lucky to have waited 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
There was like literally a line to get into the room to see the celebrities lines, and the line before the line was like 300 people.
Yep.
And that's why I can. That's why the actors who really enjoy it, it means so much because I could just I don't know, I wouldn't know until I tried it, but I don't know if I could just stand there and be nice or like say the same lines for like 2,000 or 3,000 different people,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'd be a little difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what really impressed me about Matt Lillard doing the Shaggy voice to me, because there was like a big note, from his agent, like on his table. It's like, do not ask him to do Shaggy's voice. And like whenever I was actually telling, I was telling my nephew that, and he's like, well, that's dumb. Why? And I was like, because it would probably hurt his voice to have to do that to like 2,000 or 3,000 different people,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pressure that I couldn't personally. I don't know if I could do.
Nah, well, I mean, wait, have I told the story about the one time I got recognized in public on this podcast?
I don't think you have.
I made a very successful LGBT documentary. I mean, this film has been on CNN, Oxford American, New York Times. You know, it got to the point I was so exhausted about the film. Whenever PBS reached out to me, and I was like, "Please refer to my interviews from the following 4 websites. You are free to take any quotes from those." Because I mean, and don't get me wrong, like now I would probably do it, but it's like, you know, when you make so many other films and like all people want to do is talk about one film, and you've been around the country, you've screened this film like 25 times, it gets kind of, it gets kind of old. But anyways, I was actually at a Virginia Walmart with my nephew, and I was shopping, and all of a sudden, like someone's like, and I kind of watch everyone because I'm real nervous around people, which is what made Horror Hound quite the chore. I found myself actually hanging out like in the downstairs to try and get away from people a few times. But anyways, so yeah, I noticed somebody was like looking at me, but I didn't pay him no mind, and I was talking to my nephew, and all of a sudden, like, yeah, I was like mid sentence, and he's like, hey, and I turn around, and he's like, oh my god, it's you. You made that. You made Not a Daughter, right? And I was like, uh uh yeah. And he just starts telling me like how much the film means to him and stuff, and like, and just like, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I love it. I'm so glad it had an impact, but where I was just so not expecting it, I was like with my nephew, hanging out, and I was like talking to him. It just really caught me off guard, and that was before all the, before Wolf and I got cult famous for like after that short film.
Oh
But I
God.
was like, yeah. So like a good year before, I was like, yep, that's it. I could not handle being a celebrity because I want to be nice to everybody, and I mean it really does. It means the world to me. Like, I mean, that's something that's always makes me so happy. But at the same time, when I'm having kind of a rough and hectic day and I'm with my nephew, I would not. I was like, it just really freaks me out, but I mean, I was nice to him. I thanked him and stuff, but I was like, oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
It is really weird when you get recognized in public for something that you've done, especially when you're just like, it's just another thing. But yeah, when it happens, you're like, oh, okay.
hmm But it just weirded me out, and especially because for anyone who hasn't seen the movie, my name is in it, but you do not see my face at all in the documentary, which is what really freaked me out. So I don't know if came to like one of the screenings, or maybe it was like a job fair, because like the local college basically had me come down there and be like, you can make this movie, and I would show the exact same clip from the film over and over, because they didn't like, there's like 3 F-bombs in the movie, so they definitely didn't want me showing the F-bombs. But yeah, yeah, that's all I gotta say about being famous. Cult famous, I could do it all day. Like, someone
Yeah.
shoots me an email, gives me time to like actually give them like a decent and well thought out reply. Always happy to. But I could not imagine being at a convention and like so many people lining up to meet me, get a picture with me, get their autograph, and that's also something. Like, anytime if somebody ever wanted a picture of me, just like they just need to let me know. I don't want them to catch me when I'm coming back. Well, like, I actually made Wolf Gun Bunny and I was like talking the other night, and I was like, oh yeah, by the way, guys, I'm laying on the side of the road. I tried walking to Walmart and back at like the middle of the night, and like I just got overwhelmed because of my bad foot. It's like I couldn't imagine me being like, out of breath and exhausted. Someone's like, "Oh my god, you made that movie. Can I get your picture?" And I'm like, "Oh no."
Yeah, you had me a
Which
little concerned.
yeah, I would say in that one instance, I bet if you give me a ride and some water, yes. But uh,
Real quick, I have the most clickety clackety keyboard ever, so if you hear me typing, I'm sorry.
That's
it's
okay.
alright.
That's okay. Oh man, I since we're on the topic of being noticed, I'll tell you one of my stories about the time I was recognized. So we made another film, and this is another one. I'm not gonna say what film it was, but it's not the one that I had mentioned previously. But we just kind of made it as an assignment. I was asked to star in it, and I'm like, yeah, sure, I don't care. And we made it, whatever. Post college, I was with my then fiance at our grocery store, and we had just got food stamps. So I'm looking around trying to find some bread, looking at all the loaves, trying to figure out which one was, I guess, the most aesthetically pleasing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like really into all this bread, and I hear somebody off to the side refer to me by my character's name.
Oh
And
god.
I kind of look up at him. And they're like, "Oh my gosh, it's you! You played this character in that zombie movie." And the only thing I could say was like, "Oh, you saw our zombie movie?" Some dude and his family had no idea who they were. Just like, "Hey man, I love that. It was so funny and what we do and all this stuff." And I'm sitting here just looking at bread like, "Oh, okay, man, thank you." It was
Yeah,
bizarre.
I see. Like I tell, I think about it, mentioned, but like whenever I was like at the Atlanta airport at like 7 a.m. and we had to be there at 5 a.m. To get through at set to be in the actual airport setting.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw Melissa McBride, and I saw her, and then she looked up and she saw me seeing her. And I just couldn't, like I would never be that person to like make someone's rough morning worse. So I just smiled and waved at her and went on my went along my day. And and then sure enough, like on the Walking Dead subreddit, there was like 3 different people posting pictures like, look who I saw at the airport today. And I'm like, well, I'm glad I got to at least give her like a little bit of peace, because not only would it have made like a rough morning even worse, but what if I was like, oh my god, it's you, and then like 5 people get in line behind me, like to be honest, like if I ever did that and somebody just knocked me out, I deserved it. Like I would give her a pass, because there's this one other girl, and maybe on another podcast I pulled up pretty mean mean prank. So I gave her permission, and I've told my cast and stuff. I'm like, if this girl just shows up and knocks me out, I deserved it. Don't even say a word to her. She's deserved that. She deserves that revenge, and that was like in 2015. She still earns the right. If even next week when we're filming, if she just knocks me out, I've earned it.
You probably made Melissa McBride's day though by not. Oh my God, it's you! And that's what I guess a lot of people don't realize, is that whenever you have that kind of exposure, especially with The Walking Dead at that time, yeah, that's gonna wear you down.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, and because I definitely wanted to feel that, to know like she's made an impact, because Carol, when I watched the show, is one of my favorite characters. But so I wanted to know that, but I definitely didn't want to make her, like I said, it was like 7 a.m. and I'm sure she was having a pretty busy day. I just wanted to smile and wave at her, that way she knows I recognized her, but I'm also respecting her boundaries by not trying to hassle her at an airport, or or maybe she's like got a completely different personality. But I know like when I'm at an airport, like that would be the last thing I would want, is especially at Atlanta airport. Like that place is. Before Horror Hound, I think that was like the most crowded place I'd ever been at.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta respect people's boundaries too, and I feel like I kind of feel bad for saying this because a lot of people probably be like, "Man, Wolf's kind of a dick," and I mean, yeah, you're kind of right, but like when we shoot and all that stuff, with everything that we do, shooting, photography, Twitch, this and that, and all this other stuff, and on top of our regular jobs, sometimes I like to lock myself in my room and forget I exist for a little bit, just to kind of like decompress from everything, to keep yourself sane and whatnot. But then you'll have people just constantly on you and like wanting to talk and all that stuff, and I'm like I've had to tell people in the past, look, I want some time to myself. I don't want to talk to anybody. Could you please like just let me be for a little bit? And if they persist, in all seriousness, I have absolutely no qualms with blocking them. Like, because I let it be known, like, don't bother me for a little bit. And if you keep on, you're disrespecting that boundary, then absolutely not.
I wouldn't say that's dickish at all. Especially, like, I have a lot of social anxiety, so even just normal day-to-day interactions can be difficult for me. So if I had a bunch of exposure like that, I'd definitely be like, no, go, don't do this, please.
Yeah.
I mean that's something because, well, as like I've said, me being on the spectrum, it's like a phobia because of mine, because I was basically lectured in all my all the special ed classes, like that I was an annoying person that is just going to annoy everyone I talk to. So that's why I tell people, like, and and a lot of people are like, oh, you're not that bad, but like some every now and then you'll see me miss like a very obvious social cue. And so that's why I tell people, I'm like if I'm ever that person, please just please just let me know. And that's like whenever we're filming, and I'm not going to say the actor's name, but like we had a pretty stressful week of filming the big movie, and one of the actors was just they had some personal stuff going on, and they didn't want anyone to know. But after we had a pretty tense thing of filming, that whole day was tense, and this was just like the morning. They were just like, I need to decompress. Can I go get a tattoo? And I was like, yeah. And that started a thing in itself, because like someone else was like, we're on this tight schedule, and I was like, look, if they need to decompress, if they need to get a tattoo, let them get a tattoo. And I mean, I'll say that anytime someone's stressed, like I don't care what we're doing. If we need to take 5, we'll take 5. There's nothing in this world that says that we need to rush and risk someone having a really bad a bad episode, because panic attacks suck. And I've also been that person. I'll be going to meet someone, and I'm like, well, I know like I'm supposed to meet them at this time, but I really need to take a few.
Yeah.
And that's like whenever we're waiting to meet somebody. I mean, you can ask Wolf. There's like so many times people are just like, I needed a breather. I'm sorry, I'm 5 minutes late. I'm like, no problem. Just whatever makes them feel better, because like nobody wants to be on a really stressful, tense, well, anything, but like a film set's even worse, because like there's God, that's something I just got a wave of anxiety thinking about, because we've got 4 days to shoot a whole lot of material, and I think we're going to get it done. I think we can. We're adding some more stuff to the shooting schedule, but not enough to overwhelm, because my way of shooting is I think Hollywood you shoot so many times, but I'm like, let's just take it easy. Take it chill that way because I want everyone to have fun. It's no, I don't want to be one of those method directors that's like, well, if we're having an argument, let's make everyone tense and stressed so they'll scream at each other.
Yeah.
Actually, Wolf, I was going to tell you I saw this meme the other day that kind of reminded me of that. It's like in order to play the mentally ill and depressed character who hates society in Joker, Joaquin Phoenix played League of Legends for 1 hour straight.
I believe it.
That's the only method acting you need. Just
I believe it. Oh man, I'll go ahead and tell this story too. Where I was talking about our unofficial sponsor for the day, lipstick. So, at one point in time, Robbie had actually hosted a watch party.
Oh God, I know what you're talking about.
And we watched the remake of Night of the Demons. And if no one has ever watched it, I'm not gonna say what it is on stream. Well, not on stream, but on the podcast. I'm not gonna say what it is, not because I'm afraid of YouTube throwing the demonetization hammer on us, which we're not monetized anyway. But mainly, I just don't want to spoil it. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about, but it involves a lipstick.
It's beautiful.
It is very beautiful. I think all of us had the exact same reaction, like the moment it happened,
Yeah.
because I just died laughing. I think I was actually eating something and almost choked. I was laughing so hard, and then you paused it and started laughing.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm pretty sure I had to pause it for a few minutes.
Like, that is honestly one of the best things I think a human being has ever said. Yeah, nobody can convince me of that. Even with all the philosophical sayings and teachings from wise people the world over, this one is the pinnacle.
If you haven't seen the remake of Night of the Demons, go fucking watch it. It's got that part in it, so you know what we're talking about, and you'll love it. And it's not a bad movie overall. So.
It's really not. What else?
And if you're like me and you can't watch the original because of the constant strobe lights, this movie doesn't have it, so you'll actually be able to look at the screen.
Yeah. What else did we watch? We watched April Fool's Day.
Yes, we watched the original April Fool's Day. God.
And I don't know if you've met him or not, but one of the dudes in the original April Fool's Day honestly reminds me of Ghost, or Pizza, as we know him through Twitch.
I don't think I know him.
We'll try and get him on here at some point in time. If you watch this, man, I love you. I miss you. But we watched that. We watched.
What else did we watch?
I can't remember the name of it, but it had the great Hambino in it. And then this is gonna leave a lot of questions, but there was a jizz head.
There's what?
A jizz head. So, in this one scene, there was this couple that were off to themselves, and they're getting a little frisky. She goes down
It's the
on him.
decapitation scene.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That movie is Dark Ride.
Yeah, that one was pretty good too.
All right. I forgot how many strobe lights were in that from the time I had first seen it, like 15 years ago.
Mhm.
So I had a hard time with it, but yeah. So me and my friend, he's his screen name whenever he shows up in my Twitch streams is Renegade Lawnmower. I don't know how he feels about having his real name out there, so I'm just gonna call him Renegade.
That's fine.
We watch a lot of B horror movies together, like B, C, Z grade. And we've noticed a weird through line where in almost every single one of them that we watch, there will be a scene where characters start having sex and one of them gets killed without the other noticing. And Dark Ride had the absolute pinnacle of that happen,
Mm-hmm.
where she is going down on the guy and gets decapitated, and the dude does not notice.
Like, at all. Like, he keeps going,
Yes.
finishes, and then carries the jizz head around with him for a while. And I'm just like, what are you doing, man?
He discovered a new kink that day.
I guess, because he
But
did.
he
He
did
carried
not.
it.
He did not live long enough to enjoy it.
He didn't. But he did. He
What
carried
was,
it around for a good bit.
what was really funny to me, and this is really going to reveal how old I am. The old MTV show and movie called Together, which was a parody of boy bands. He was in that. He played one of the members of the boy band, and his name was Mickey. He was the bad boy. So the whole time I was watching that, I kept thinking of it in terms of the MTV boy band parody. And I watched Together again recently, and it still holds up as just hilarious and surprisingly savage. Like how hard they go in on boy bands. I'm pretty sure the whole thing is on YouTube, so like for free. So if you want to see MTV just absolutely tearing down one of the pillars of MTV at that time, you should check it out. It's hilarious, and the music is catchy as hell.
I'll have to look into it.
I will never forget the song. The hardest part of breaking up is getting back your stuff. And if I'm remembering correctly, one of the characters was played by Chris Farley's brother.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the guy from Dark Ride was in Together, and that's all I could think of the whole time. It's just, I don't know. I watched Together when I was a little kid because I was definitely a boy band girl. So seeing that scene for me was just something else.
After we finished that film, like, I think you logged off. Like, after we finished that one. And then immediately afterwards, I went and watched The Sandlot.
Sandlot's a good movie.
It is. There was actually one of my relatives at one point in time. I used to have a shirt with the Great Hambino on it with the caption, "You play ball like a girl," on it. And we were at the family reunion. They're from some of my folks from Indiana. And her dad was like, "My daughter's going to buy that off of you before she leaves today." And I'm like, "Why? What do you say that?" She's like, "She loves The Sandlot." And I'm like, "Really? How old is she?" And I think she's like 16 or something like that. I'm like, "No, she won't." And I went up to the house, took it off, like washed it and everything, came back and gave it to her. I'm like, "You know what? You've earned this," because I know a lot of people, a lot of younger people who have never seen The Sandlot. And she was actually going to be going as a Benny, like a gender bent Benny for Halloween that year. I'm like, you've earned this. I'm like, you can have it. But it's a great movie. I think at one point in time, like, it started out as a joke, but I would love to make this movie. Robbie and I had actually talked about it in a couple of her streams, but it involved, like, Mormons with guns Like sharpshooting Mormons, we called long distance Mormons, and that was as far as we got. Like, it's. I don't know why, but I chuckle every time I think of it. It's just out there.
Well, I guess it is. It's a great term, long distance Mormon.
It is.
Yeah.
And how did that come about? You were playing.
Yeah, I was playing Fallout 4, and I ran into a legendary radiated Yao Guai.
Yeah.
And no matter how many times I tried, what weapons I used, anything, that thing kept killing me. And I was getting frustrated. I was just like, okay, whoever decided that we needed this Yao Guai to be both legendary and radioactive can go to hell. And not the fun kind of hell. They should go to the boring kind of hell where you're surrounded by Mormons or something.
That's gold. I mean, it's funny.
And that just morphed into this whole thing about Mormons for a while on my channel.
It kind of reminds me like of South Park, like how they kind of play like religion as I guess like a test answer, like, oh, we're sorry, the correct religion was the Mormons, and everyone's like, oh, and then they just go to hell. It's like, well, drat. Actually, speaking of Fallout, like that's one of the one of my favorite cut content is like in New Vegas, which well, I guess it ain't cut, like, cause like you can still get parts of this like in the game, but they just cut out like most of the dialogue. But like one of my favorite characters, just because he's a meme, is driver Nephi, who's like one of the raiders who beats people to death with a golf club. Like, if you restore the cut content and like talk to him, and you talk to Bert, who's the school, Bert's like the ghoul missionary who's a Mormon. It turns out driver Nephi's backstory is he was a Mormon who escaped and did a whole bunch of drugs to escape all the pain and brainwashing of being a Mormon, and turned into a drug fueled psychopathic murderer.
Wow.
Isn't, Joshua Graham from Honest Hearts also a Mormon?
Yeah.
I love that man.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And God said, murder the hell out of him.
So where Joshua Graham is like a ridiculously good shot at long distances, does that make him a long distance Mormon?
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think I showed.
So.
I showed Wolf that video. That guy trying to beat Honest Hearts without taking damage, and he's like on top of the cliff, and Joshua Graham can still one shot him with that pistol from the main bottom.
He is the long distance Mormon.
I don't know if we could actually get away with like naming our character or like main long distance Mormon Joshua Graham, but he can at least have his initials. Nice little reference.
Oh man.
Or we can just spell it the same but have it pronounced differently, like Joshua Graham.
Joshua Graham.
Just spell it the same and say no, it's pronounced Graham, not Graham.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah, just different enough.
And if by chance it does get hit with copyright, I have an idea for a completely original character named Jason Gray.
Why?
but yeah, if you redo the Fiends, restore the Fiends content, you can actually talk. You can actually talk to driver Nephi and be like, your friend Bird is looking for it. He's like, Bird is like, you tell that corpse looking fuck I'm never going back to his cult ever again. And I think this is I think him telling you that he came here searching for his friend Nephi, and trying to save him from the darkness of joining the Fiends. I believe that's still in the final game. But I know if you kill Driver Nephi, I can talk to him. Even if you're meeting him for the first time, he's like, I've learned that my dear friend Nephi has finally passed on. May his soul find peace.
Oh.
Well, his soul might find peace, but his bashed-in skull will not.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to know about the bashed-in skull, though.
Yeah.
Let's kind of keep that on the down low.
It's also like Fallout 3. You can make somebody faint by lying how somebody died, and it's like it's one of the best dialogue trains of all time because it's like, well, it's like by the time I got there, I heard the screams and all I know I knew it was too late. She's like, oh no, and he's like, yeah. He asked about you. She's like, what? He was alive? Yeah, barely. You know, I had to put him out of his misery. And she's like, oh no, please stop. He's like, yep. He took every bullet up a bullet of my gun and a brick. Like,
The brick is what did him in, though.
yeah.
I guess Fallout 3 has one of the most frustrating quest lines I've ever encountered in a game. That fucking 10-penny tower.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
yeah.
Yeah.
Every
like
one of
seven-
us.
Yeah, it seems like the right thing to do is to get everyone to set their prejudice aside and accept the ghouls. And it's like, no, the correct thing is to be a racist dick and go kill them all.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Mass murder.
They're like, well, I mean, you know, it's I mean, like the like I still hate it, you know, like if you do the logical thing at the main end and send the radioactive proof super mutant in to fix the reactor, that the end credits will call you a coward. And the Lone Wanderer was a complete bitch for not going in there and needlessly sacrificing himself for no reason.
That
What?
pussy.
Yeah, what a selfish asshole! He didn't murder himself.
Like, I mean, yeah, his companions were a super mutant who's immune to radiation and a ghoul who's healed by radiation, but
Right?
it's his destiny, guys.
This is what he was made for.
Like I got so mad the first time I genuinely turned the game off and like wouldn't play it for a solid hour whenever I asked like Fox the super mutant to do it, and he's like, I'm not going to interfere with your destiny, and I'm like, bitch, next time I'm playing a game, I'm going to leave you to your destiny being locked in that room for all eternity. How do you like that?
Oh.
Like,
I don't know which one was more frustrating for me, that one or in New Vegas, the fucking Sunset Sarsaparilla Star.
oh yeah.
That's such a buzzkill, and I mean, then you find the award room, and it's okay, I guess. But it's like, you mean I went through all of this time, going through the most ball-numbingly difficult shit for you to tell me why this blue star is on the bottle cap? Fuck you, man.
Yeah.
I love New Vegas, but it has some frustrating quests like that one, and then I believe it's Vault 32, the one with like the plant people in it.
Oh yeah, I love that one.
And don't get me wrong, I love the concept, but man, that place is so annoying to navigate. I spend 2 or 3 hours trying to find my way in this vault, and by the end of it, I'm just so frustrated. I'm like, that's it. I don't care about being good. I'm just going to murder everybody.
That kind of happens when you're going around looking at little, like, cabbage people. But it is a really good... I really like that vault because, like, it's got a bit of spookiness to it because you never know when they're going to come out.
Oh, yeah. And, like,
Yeah.
the fact that they just stand completely still, too. Like, you know, I mean, I love it. I really wish they'd just revamped it, or if they could do it the way they did the Water Temple when they re-released Zelda Ocarina of Time and actually put, like, you know, arrows or like signs so you know which way you're going.
Yeah, definitely.
I think I'm gonna make that meme and not post it on like a Fallout fan group instead of in order to become the mentally ill person who hates society, instead of him playing League of Legends, Joaquin Phoenix had to try to navigate Vault 32.
Or give him the maze that got put back into Vampire Bloodlines Masquerade. Cause God, I see why it was cut after I went through it. And you know what I'm talking about. When you're investigating the mansion owned by the Malkavian Primogen,
Mm-hmm.
there's a part where you're supposed to go through a maze that's got like all sorts of like MC Escher style fucking architecture going on. And it was originally cut, but you can get a version that puts it back in. And I can't remember if it's an official version or not, but God, I understand why it was cut. Like after about 20 minutes, I just turned on no clip. Like fuck this, I'm barging through the walls.
Talking about games, there's actually a game where you're based in a labyrinth with, it's a horror game. I'd like to say it's Labyrinthine. Yeah, Labyrinthine. So you literally go around through this maze and you're being chased by monsters and everything else.
That's true. I'd like more Labyrinth games. Or well, I say that, although I just said like how one Labyrinth in a Fallout game just mentally broke my character's wheel of sanity.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be saying that, and then like an hour in, I'm like, that's it, enough. The monsters don't have to chase me more. I'll just go kill myself. You guys win.
Done with this house of leaves crap. I want a normal house.
I feel like we need to work that into a script. Fuck this house. I'm done with this house of leaves and shit.
And you're just sitting there like trying to build a house of leaves.
Oh man, I actually speaking of games, I was telling one of my friends the other day, I was playing Skyrim, and I finally, since it came out, made it past Whiterun.
Sweet.
She was like, "That's at the beginning of the game," and I'm like, "Yeah, no, I don't play it a lot."
Whenever you play, I love Skyrim. Skyrim helped. The best way I describe it is like, don't get me wrong, Oblivion way better, Morrowind better, but Skyrim has a special place in my heart because it helped me through a really nasty breakup, and it inadvertently caused one because like earlier I was talking about how I miss social cues.
Oh yeah.
My girlfriend at the time was trying to flirt with me, and I was being the cool guy and showing her on my Skyrim save with like over like 1,500 hours in it. And and so she's like, so is the, and so like I was replaying saves because she said she wanted to see more of it. So I was playing, so like I was on Solstheim, and she's like, oh, that's cool, but is there anything else you would like to do? And I was like, I guess I'll show you the Dark Brotherhood quest line. And so I was just doing that, and then she was like, oh, that's okay, but is there anything else you would like to do? And I was like, well, okay, fine, I'll load up my other save, we'll go back to Morrowind. Jeez. Like, it was so bad. And to be fair, this is something I would totally do. She thought I was just intentionally screwing with her.
I mean, I think it's funny.
Yeah. So Skyrim helped me, and then it did not help me.
I was more of a fan of Oblivion, like, cause that was
Oh
my
yeah,
introduction to the Elder Scrolls series. But then you go back and play like Morrowind and and the rest of them. But yeah, Skyrim, it was just really hard for me to get into. And now, even then, now that I'm past Whiterun, it's like, what are you gonna do next?
Hmm.
I don't know.
Go hunt dragons.
I kind of want to play Oblivion next.
Well, I mean, wait, like Skyrim is just so buggy. Like it is so funny. Well, like minor spoilers for like a 10-year-old game, but in order to complete your Dragonborn training, you have to go up the 10,000 steps to High Hrothgar,
Yeah,
Ugh.
and
that's a long trek.
I was being a petty dick my playthrough, and I felt the shopkeeper wronged me, so I stole a bunch of stuff just laying around and ran out the door. So he decides, you know what? This guy who stole my bread and like one piece of gold, this guy the chosen one who's going to save us all, he deserves to die. And so he sends hired thugs at me. So I'm in there talking to the Greybeards, who are actually the most well, not stat wise the most powerful enemy, but you won't beat them because they'll just keep using the freeze shout on you and just spam that until you die. Like you can't fight back at all. So I was just in there talking to these monks, and all of a sudden, some hired thugs come in to beat me up for stealing like a bread and like some gold, and these old men just massacre them, like So I'm like, imagine that, like you're a hired thug and you get paid like 20 gold, so you go through one of the most hardest journeys in all the land and meet the ancient graybeards, and then just get curb stomped by them.
You come into my church of prayer. Now you die.
and,
How
and,
far
and,
along?
and then there's that one time the dragon, like I got a bounty, and the person who witnessed me committing the crime was actually the dragon I was fighting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, well, they want to end humanity, but he is totally going to rat me out for accidentally stealing a sword that was on the wall. My bad.
That dragon has morals, damn it.
Yeah. Oh,
man.
and then there's the save where my wife is just permanently trying to murder me if I ever go back home, because I married this girl, Mule, the lioness,
Mm-hmm.
and the Bethesda's game is so buggy. Her follower, who is literally just a big simp for her, where he's bugged to follow her, where he's programmed to follow her 24/7, even though he has a house. If you get married and she moves in with you, he moves in too.
Oh.
And so I adopted this stray dog, Miko, who I try to anytime I'm playing a good character, I go and rescue this dog because that dog's a good boy. He deserves all the pets. So, anyways, so yeah, her simp friend just comes in and is just saying passive aggressive comments, and he calls my dog ugly. So
Oh no.
so I just cave in his skull, and of course that automatically makes her hostile. So now with that save, it's been probably like 2 years game time. Anytime I go home, she's going to try to kill me, and
Honey, I'm home. Air goes flying by your face.
yeah.
Hi,
Jack,
how was
that's done.
work?
But it's,
I still wish you could marry the Hag Raven from the Drunken Knight quest line.
oh yeah.
Mm.
You find out that you propose to a Hag Raven and you go talk to her and she's just like, "Oh, huh." you're back. And I wish you could go through with it and marry her. But you can't. The game makes you kill her, and it's so sad every time.
Uh-huh. One of my favorite characters, and if any one of y'all gets the name I got this from, I will be so happy. But this save has like almost 800 hours in it, and it's a Khajiit that is a master of hand-to-hand combat because Khajiit got those claws; they can just beat people up with their bare hands. And his name is Whiskers the Wonder Cat.
Every time I think of Khajiit, I think of Khajiit has wares if you have coin.
I think of Maik the liar.
Uh-huh.
I love Mayig. I've always been a Khajiit in my characters, except for one. I was a Nord named Beowulf. I was fat and had a pink mohawk, and I ran around in my underwear and just punched people. That was it.
Oh man.
I used to go for red guards myself.
Nice.
Oh, there's actually like that actually reminds me. There's like a prank call where somebody like plays the racist Nord from Skyrim, and he just calls people. It's like, we don't want your kind. Go back to Morrowind, Dark Elf. And so like one of the guys actually catches on, and he's like, "Yo, man, I'm not a Dark Elf. I'm a Red Guard." He's like, "Oh, okay. I'll look the other way this time."
Wow.
Yeah.
In one of my playthroughs of Oblivion, I was a Breton, and at one point I was just walking through this town. I don't remember which of the towns it was, and I just hear someone yell out, "Filthy Breton scum!" So I turn around, I was like, "Okay, I'm ready to square up. Let's fight." And it was like the orc from the Fighters Guild. It was like, never mind. Yes, I am filthy Breton scum.
Yeah.
This is like, I'm like level 1. I ain't fighting you.
Oh god. Oh.
I didn't know you were so racist though.
Uh-huh.
Oh man, one thing that I have in my inventory, I've got a few things that I keep in my inventory for my Oblivion characters, and one is it's a helmet that gives you like permanent night eye. Even though I'm a Khajiit, I can use it. Or no, it's not night eye. You can detect life. I'm like, that's handy. So I get that. I get the Jewel of Romare so I can breathe underwater. But this one quest from this Khajiit in the Imperial City, she makes her famous potato bread. And it's a quest where you gotta go get her potatoes from this ogre. So you go kill the ogre and she gives you a loaf of potato bread. I will keep this potato bread and I will not eat it. Like, I refuse to. Because I'm just like, this is one of the best gifts ever. I don't know, because like you'd normally be thinking like, give some gold or some stuff, but nah, here's the loaf of tater bread. And I'm like, okay, I want to keep this.
And
I will treasure this forever.
So speaking of Oblivion, Wolf's going to know where I'm going with this, but I love how the Khajiit look in that game specifically.
Yep.
And whenever I try to sell camera gear, you're always going to get spammers like, "Hello, seller, kindly reply to email. I am interested in camera." Just trying to scam you. I will send them a picture of this one particular Khajiit in Oblivion, just with the derpiest face. And in fact, Wolf was here the day I bought like this software that like upscales old images and stuff. The first thing I did was find that old grainy Khajiit image and upscale it to 8K.
He did.
Wow.
He really did.
and it's even like in a special folder, which now I actually had to get a new phone, so I need to actually while I'm doing that, we'll go ahead and make a new folder just to put this image of the Khajiit in, so I know where it's at just to send scammers.
Why? Oh man, I really want to go back and play some more Oblivion, which I've been wanting to stream a bit more, but like given everything that's been going on lately with like just me trying to take time to myself and then just a lot of like recent personal stuff and then acting and stuff as well, I've not really streamed a whole lot, but I want to start streaming Oblivion again. Old Wampus Cat needs to make a return.
Say the mask you get at the end of the Thieves Guild questline, the Cowl of the Grey Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It annoys me so bad that if you put that on, the guards immediately come after you, because the lore behind it is that it's supposed to make everyone forget you.
Mm.
But if you put it on, you immediately get swarmed by hostile people. And it's like, what is this? This is such a disconnect between lore and gameplay. Because these people are all supposed to forget I even exist, let alone am standing here.
Oh man.
Are you in the Imperial City?
You don't look familiar. I'm going to kill you.
I don't know who you are, so die!
When it comes to guards in the Elder Scrolls, I personally have more problems out of the Imperial Legion than I do any other guard.
Yeah.
Like, anytime that I have ever been arrested or whatnot, it's always been by an Imperial Legion member. Like, it's hardly ever any other city guard. And I'm like, what are you all doing?
I've been arrested in Whiterun a few times in Skyrim.
Yes, I'm a member of the Dark Brotherhood. Yes, I'm a cutthroat murderer. Yes, I steal shit, but somebody else arrest me for once.
Oh man, as I actually the most I remember like the most I ever which I swear this will end with me being able to relate it back to like the crimes of the guards. There's like this one girl, like this one woman in Riften who's like a crime boss, and without mods you can't kill her because she's essential, because Bethesda like that would break their game if you could kill anybody, you know. But yeah, and she's like she's like immediately just like so smug. So I learned about this group. I learned about this woman. Her whole crime family.
Mm-hmm.
And I go ransack her entire her entire house. I played the Thieves Guild quest, which is actually pretty weird. You can actually beat the Thieves Guild quest in Skyrim without ever stealing anything. Yeah, but anyways, I go to that because there's a part where you're supposed to burn this beehive because like she's like in business with them, but she only wants you to destroy some to leave a message because she still needs the beehives. I burned every single one of them just to spite her. It was worth losing the gold for that quest for. And then I joined the Stormcloaks. As an Argonian, I joined this army that hates my entire people. And then I go to the towards the end of the quest where you have to negotiate, like a temporary peace between the Imperials and the Stormcloaks, and I give the Imperials the city of Riften, because that lady actually will become the Jarl. She becomes the head honcho.
Yeah.
So I give her the ultimate position of power, just so I can side with the Stormcloaks and take over Riften and to exile her from Riften. And then one of the things she says to taunt you is, make me angry, I'll get the Thieves Guild on you. Make me even angrier, I'll call the Dark Brotherhood. I become the guild master of the Thieves Guild, and then I go and murder the Dark Brotherhood. I'll spend an entire day just to spot this one woman because she was mildly rude to me in this video game.
I mean, It
Who
happens.
among us hasn't done something like that?
Yeah.
And while I was telling that story, I'm sending it in our Discord call. The image of the Khajiit. I send people. So by all means, if you ever get a spammer or someone annoying you, keep the legend of that Khajiit alive.
Khajiitas wears if you have coin.
I love that. I
May
love
you
that
walk
so
on
much.
warm sands.
I used to go around saying that to some of my friends in college because we would all play. We all played a lot of Elder Scrolls and stuff in college, and that's what I would say whenever I would say goodbye to him. And then one of my other friends, he would go around calling me fur licker all the time. So you got a lot of really weird looks.
Oh God, I don't like that name.
I don't either. Like, I really don't either. But like, whenever we'd be out in like a crowd of people, and he'd call me that, I got a lot more strange looks than I usually would. But then I would just look straight back at him and be like, "What?"
One of our where I opened up Discord, one of our fellow actors in the movie is on here, and where I suck at I don't know. I guess I'm finally going senile as an old man who is going to be 30 in 2023. I can't figure out. It's really hard for me to figure out Discord. And so one of our actors actually added me like a few months ago, and I didn't see it until March. And so I just waved like, "Hey man, sorry, I didn't see this." So without any context, I am sending Jace the Khajiit as well.
Please do.
I,
Please do.
I just did.
Nice. That's the best. Excuse me. You know what? Usually, one thing I thought about doing for the like the thumbnail and all that stuff for the podcast is try to have our guests and everything send any kind of picture and stuff that they would like to appear in the thumbnail and the video. But Robbie, do you want to use that Khajiit picture?
Yes.
Why, yeah. I was just thinking about that. I'm like, hell yeah, that would be funny.
Let's see. Let me open up Photoshop. That's a pretty cool background removal tool. I'll see if I can't make a transparent file of just like.
I mean,
Imagine sitting here this whole time with that look on my face.
if you can't, I don't care to do it, man. But like, yeah, we'll get to any guests and all that stuff that we'll have on the podcast. We'll have they can send in their own picture and everything, and they'll appear in the thumbnail and and the video. Well, the picture will. God, that is so funny.
That should just be me. If I ever make any future guest appearances, I will continue to be the Khajiit.
Okay. Why, yeah, that'll work.
All right. Actually, first try, I've already got him with a transparent background.
God, that was fast.
When it comes to editing photos and videos, I literally have no life. So many people have called me on this too. Like whenever I do a photo shoot, I'm like, yeah, I should have these photos toned in like a day or so, and I'll literally have it like toned within. I'll literally have them toned in like 2 or 3 hours. Like if I have nothing else to do, I just go straight to them.
I work small scale. I use GIMP. But yeah, I'll stand by and say, man, when it comes to like any kind of camera work, any kind of editing work, I don't trust anybody more than I trust you, and I have a degree in it. I trust you more than me. Like you are, man. You're you're it for me.
Let's see. I think I don't know if Discord accepts transparent PNG files, but yep. Okay, I think it.
I want to say yes because I've
It
seen it.
did. It
There
worked.
it is.
Whenever I think of video editing, the first thing that always comes to mind is the one fun fact I know about the industry, which is that it was originally considered women's work.
Really?
Because editing film was originally considered to be along the lines of sewing. So it was considered a woman's job until they realized how much of the end product is made by the editor, how much control the editor has. And then they were like, oh, we should get in there.
Wow.
There's actually a really cool thing like how George Lucas's wife saved the original Star Wars in the edit,
Yeah.
because I mean like it's like an in-depth explanation how and don't get me wrong, George Lucas is a good storyteller, but he's not apparently he's not that good of an editor.
No.
Because actually one of the most iconic scenes that our Obi-Wan willingly sacrifices himself against Vader.
Mhm.
In the original edit, Vader killed him outright and defeated him. He didn't sacrifice himself.
So what you're saying is Obi-Wan did not have the high ground then.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I've done work editing like books and stories, and I wish I could get more work, but that's a whole other thing. But I've known a lot of people working through that who they're very good storytellers, but they desperately need someone coming in and being like, okay, let's fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
George Lucas really strikes me as one of those people. Like, he is great at the idea, but when it comes to the execution, he desperately needs someone to be like, okay, run it past me first.
Well,
Uh-huh.
anytime that I write something, I need proofread, which is gonna be literally everything because I hate the way that I write. I'll send it your way.
Oh, I would love that. Like,
So what you're saying is, though, when we make movies and we need you to edit like the script and everything, send it to you first.
I will. I haven't done any work with editing scripts, so I don't know how good I would be at that. But I would definitely be willing to give it a shot.
My yeah. And then we could also, we could work on your resume and stuff like that too. Hell yeah.
That's actually part of I know during filming, and I've shown this because there's going to be one scene we have shot 3 different times for Invisible Scars, and because the role of Dimitri, who Wolf plays in the final cut, had to be recast, and then the other role, the person he's talking to, had to be recast now. So, but like when you look at the original, just like how much I let actors have control over their parts in the movie, like they're like most of the script is different, but even the parts where they say the same dialogue, it is said in a completely different tone and everything. It's like so wild because I'm someone I think I'm like I have a vague idea of a story, but I kind of want to collab. I consider it like a almost like a musical composition. I want other people, to see how well we can play off each other.
Yeah. What's up,
I think a lot of people like within the general public don't realize how much of a collaborative effort filmmaking is as
Oh,
opposed to other artistic endeavors.
Yeah.
Nope, they sure
Like,
don't.
writing and painting and that sort of thing, that can be done by a single person. But like with filmmaking, it takes so many people like
Mhm.
working together. It is insane. And it's like whenever I'm reading or watching a review and they try to pin the blame for something on a single person, for the most part, I'm usually like, you can't blame this one person.
No.
I can unless there's like there's like very few times I can blame something on one person. Like the only thing I will say is like the only example I can think of that comes to mind is like Wesley Snipes in like one of the Blade movies where he was just like wouldn't speak to the directors, like you only will refer to me as Blade, and then in one scene they had to CGI his eyes open because he wouldn't open his eyes for the camera.
Yeah, Blade
Mhm.
3, where they had
What?
to completely rework Ryan Reynolds' role in the film, um, to make him such a bigger character because Wesley Snipes refused to do most of his scenes. So they were like, okay, I guess Van Wilder's our main character now.
Uh-huh. And oh yeah, no, it is wild because like, especially when you see the stuff like I have planned for the movie versus what ends up actually happening, and I was back way back when we were first making this movie. Um, the original actor who played Dimitri was in a band with one of the characters who also later dropped out of the movie. Um, they were in a band together, and I mean, I'd done all these pictures for them. I hung out with them. I knew these guys, so I wrote their characters to be best friends. And I'm sure you already know where this is going. But I wrote them because I'm like, man, they just play. They have that natural chemistry, and then it gets to filming, and he's like, oh yeah, I will not be on set with him at all.
God.
Non-negotiable. Yeah, non-negotiable. I don't want to see him. I don't want to look eyes at him. And I'm like, oh my god. Like, well, there goes like literally 1/10 of the entire movie.
Yeah.
Did like something happen between them, or did they secretly hate each other the whole time?
They had a really bitter falling out in between the time I hung out with them and the time they came to shoot for the movie. And especially making a movie in such a small town, there's another instance of somebody I hired for a role, but he hates somebody else who's in the movie. And I mean, I talked to him and he was really up for it. And I was like so excited. And then he watched the trailer and he's like, "Oh, is so and so going to be there?" I'm like, "Probably." And I mean, this was me trying to get a group of people together for this current shoot to to hopefully finally finish this movie. They're like, "Oh, is so and so going to be there?" And I'm like, "Probably." And he's like, "Well, I won't because I will literally fist fight him. It was worth going to jail." And I'm just like, "Wait, what?" You know, you've seen this movie like that's been 3 years in production, and you didn't know this person is in the movie. So yeah, no, that's what. But anyway, sorry, that was kind of a tangent. But yeah, except for those rare occasions, you cannot blame one person for a for like a bad movie. Because I mean, there was a well, I mean, uh, I'll probably think of other horror movies to pick on later, but because we seem to keep picking on Leatherface, and I feel bad, but the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D.
Oh God.
Yeah, some of the cringiest dialogue. It turns out the actors did not actually want to say. The director is like, no, made him say it, and that's why for any script,
Do your
you
thing, cuz.
yeah, that's actually the line. She didn't want to say that, and the director made her. that's why it kind of has to be a collab. And I would say like the intro to Invisible Scars has the main character of the film. They secretly came out as trans, and off screen, because it's all revealed. They just come home to their dad, and he knows they're he knows they're out because one of their friends mistake called them by their preferred name and kicks them out of the house because because that's a reality that happens around here. But the whole scene was supposed to be they have a script, they have an arguing. The main character was to go inside and get their stuff, and he was supposed to come in after him and argue. And so when we meet the guy, and he's probably one of the best actors in the movie.
Oh yeah, hands down.
Like he does so much in like a literal 2-minute scene. He's just such a good performance. But anyways, we get there and I'm going over it with him, and he's like, he's like, well, if I'm kicking them out, I wouldn't let them in the house. They're not getting their stuff. They can take what's on their back and leave, and that's what ends up happening in the final cut. And it ends up being so much more hard hitting. And so that's why, like, anytime, and I mean, this comes with the stuff I'm writing, like all this material we're going to be shooting next week. Like, if they don't like it, we'll find something they do like. I never will be a director that will make anyone do anything they don't want to do or makes them uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Reminds me of Robert Mitchum, the classic Hollywood actor. He did not say which film he was talking about. He didn't want to shade anyone, but he was talking about one of the movies he was in where he really hated what the script wanted him to do. So he kept screwing it up until the director talked to him. Because originally, like, he had tried to talk to the director, and the director was like, no, do what's in the script. And so he kept screwing it up until the director talked to him and was like, yeah, I'm sorry, I've have this idea for how to do the scene differently that's in my head, and I can't get past it. Can we do like a couple of takes where I do it my way, and then we'll try doing it the script's way again? And it worked for him. He got to do it his way, and that's what ended up in the final cut.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, he didn't name which movie it was because he didn't want to shade anyone, but yeah, I think it is good to listen to your actors when they have an idea
Oh yeah.
about how something's working.
Yeah.
I mean, they could be wrong, but you never know.
I mean, sometimes little happy things like that that happen with I don't know if this is confirmed or not, but this is just a story that I've heard in Empire Strikes Back, where we were talking about Star Wars earlier. Whenever Leia looks at Han and it's like, I love you. Apparently he was supposed to say I love you too, but they did the take so many times, Harrison Ford was just like, fuck it. He looks at her and goes, I know. And then, but that hit so much better. Like,
Oh yeah,
just fit the character so much better.
And it kind of makes him like a narcissist, conceited person.
Yeah.
Which really fits Han Solo's kind of character of a space cowboy, I guess.
Yeah.
Scoundrel.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of, I will say, like, because I there's so many things I want to talk about, but I can't. I will say one of the characters' fates in the movie was, because spoiler, the guy named Dimitri is the bad guy.
Hello.
Yeah.
As the name Dimitri suggests.
Yeah. But one of the characters' deaths in the movie was supposed to go a much more violent, horrific way, and because like one of the times Wolf and I was hanging out, he talked about making it a lot more like psychological, and I
Mhm.
think it's one of the most hard hit parts in the entire movie. Like what ends up in the final, like how things end up going down, and I probably spoiled a bit much, but yeah, well it's a movie I made. Of course, people are going to die in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can honestly say death scenes are so fun to film, even when you are the one dying. Maybe you didn't get a lot of screen time, maybe whatever, but even then, me personally, I find it so much fun.
Getting covered in that fake blood.
Oh god, yeah. I love it.
I
I
mean, it
absolutely
looks
love
like
it.
it'd be fun.
It is.
You
It's
just-
so much fun.
My hair has been like permanently stained red because of fake blood.
It has. One of these
Thanks
days.
for Hans, of course,
Oh
for
yeah.
that one.
One of these days when we're. I'm sorry. You go ahead.
I was just gonna say, when they made the movie, Story of Ricky, I think it's a Korean movie. Um, I could be wrong about it being Korean, but in the climax, they used so much fake blood that the actors could not get all of it off for like a week.
Oh, I believe it. It
Yeah.
stays.
I believe it.
One of these days when we're shooting, though, we need to have you down here. Or us up there or something, and we'll all shoot together.
If you're if you're free next Monday to anytime next Monday, next Thursday is going to be when we start shooting. Not to just put you on the spot, but I've literally been messaging trying to find extras in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
My work schedule, they only make it a week out, and it's only ever posted on like Fridays or Saturdays, so I don't know what my hours are gonna be next week. But yeah, if I can, I'll definitely come down. I'll let you know.
Yes. Yeah, just all right. I gotta. That's basically what I'm gonna be doing all day Friday. Is just really mapping everything out, because there, without spoiling that, there is some filler scenes that could wait with the main villain, but I think at least I'm getting the vibe just talking with everyone. Like I feel so hopeful once we start shooting and collabing, like actually knocking out the whole rest of filming.
Mm-hmm.
Knocking it out, and then over 3 years of production. Like it's so insane to think about when I'm like looking at these clips and I'm like, oh yeah, that's from 2019, 3 years ago.
Mm.
It's been one hell of a journey.
hmm That's like I've literally like someone messaged me and it's like, well, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, mapping out the final hell ride. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, preparing for filming.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. But I think that'll be a pretty good place to stop this episode, or in the episode, because we actually have a couple things we got to do here shortly. But really awesome. Stoked to have Robbie as their first guest. It's been a lot of fun.
I liked being on. I hope I get to come back in the future.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, most
Oh
definitely.
yeah.
Definitely. We're always down to talk about literally anything and everything. So, maybe we'll do movie reviews or something at some point in time, or if there's just anything that you would like to talk about, just holler at us and we'll we'll definitely plan around and get you on.
All right. Definitely love doing this one.
Oh yeah, we've loved having you. It's been great. It's been great catching
Oh
up
yeah.
too, because I've not talked to you in forever.
Yeah, I've missed you guys. I hope I can get back into streaming soon. My hospital break kind of killed my mental health for a while, and
Hmm.
the longer I stayed away from it, the harder it's been to get back to it. So hopefully I'll be able to get back in soon.
Absolutely. And once you're back into it, feel free to plug your stream anytime you would like.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
You know, we'll send people your way. But we want to thank everybody for tuning in, checking out this episode. We'll be back next Friday at noon with a different sponsor. And yeah, who knows what it's gonna be?
And depending on how fast we might have Matt and Casey joining us. I was I already spoiled it in the last episode because I was like, well, I was going to keep it a secret, but I already blabbed.
That happens. It happens. But thank y'all so much for watching. Stay tuned, and we'll see y'all next week.
Yep. See ya.
See ya.
Hey.